Hello, my super patrons. I got a really good one for you today. We're riding into the end of May. I give you a reference photo and traceable. The photo shows that I've actually photoshopped the birds in. I found this rusty old bike and I photoshopped the birds in, and then I've enhanced it by adding different blooms, changed the color. This is what I'm talking about. And I'll tell you 1,000 ideas to change it up for yourself. And how to go about finding things like this too. And it's in like some kind of like the rustic back out in someone's backyard and just thrown in there. And I took that all out, and that's as simple as I did it. If you have any questions in the comment section, but let's get started. Okay, so you have the traceable. I traced mine on 100% cotton cold press paper block. It doesn't have to be a block for this particular exercise, but it's just, I like the bright white from Fabriano, and it's always in a block. They don't have single sheets like ours does. And I just did the bike in the basket with the birds. I didn't do the background. And you can do any kind of background you want, but if background was just so busy. And this again is another example of taking out the noise. I added the birds, I photoshopped them on there. You see other things you can do. You can just take something simple that you see in nature or around your house. It's like a rusted bike, but I'm not painting it rustic. Rusty. Paint it any color you want. It can be rainbow, it can be any color. The flowers don't have to be sunflowers. I kind of drew them in, but I don't know if I'm going to actually keep them. Although it would look kind of cute with the blue. So you can keep them all blue tones. You can keep the bike blue, the birds blue, the flowers blue. It could be all kind of blue tones, be really kind of pretty. So vice versa, pinks, hot colors, or it could be multicolor. Heck, it could be 4th of July. You could have little flags coming out of here, right? For 4th of July. Think of things outside the box. I'm giving you ideas to see if you don't know what to paint. Grab a bike you see and just paint the bike, draw it out, take a photograph of it, and then you could add birds, you could add tassels, you could add flags, you can do the bunting, like that little bunting you see, like with the red, white, and blue. You can add a little plate with a name on there. You see where I'm going with this, guys? So I give you ideas on my Patreon, and I show you how I paint them, and ideas on how I paint them, how I just go about them, and then you can execute it to make it your own. You would obviously, would do a different type of bike, right? You would take a photograph, or you see a photograph online or something. This is not my photograph, so there you go. But I did add the birds, so you can add different birds. You don't have to add birds. You know what I mean? You see what I'm saying? Change it up to make it your own. And that's how you do. I just rattled off a ton of ideas, just how you can do it. And so I have really kind of deep pencil lines today, and I'm not really erasing them. I'm going to show them. Sometimes I like to show them, sometimes I don't. And I really want to paint this in a very loose, nonchalant kind of way. I could use my simple tiny little 8 round brush and my 10 round brush, or I might go in full on tilt crazy woman and use a, oh God, where is my number 12 Neptune series brush? Paint it really super loose. Many different ways. Where would you start? Well, maybe you start with the bike. And again, I'm not painting it the way you see it on the photograph. I'm debating if I should make the bike blue. I love this verditier blue. I'm in this verditier blue. I'm having a verditier blue moment, I think. Verditier blue. So with the little shack house I did on YouTube, why not do this here? So all the parts that would be kind of rustic, I paint with the blue. And see, I'm just going to really simply sticking this color in here. The blue would be everywhere that the rustic color would be. Just throwing that all in there. All these little lines, you see? It can go a little fast once you start putting those in. That's chain. Actually, I have to make that a color that's not, I should make that gray. So here I'm just adding the blue, and I do my first wash of the color. And then I'll go and add the real details later, but really just kind of put the simple blue wash in here. So just watering down this color right out of the tube and not mixing anything. That's why I like verditier blue. It's such a great color. And it's so pretty. Now, the birds would be blue also. I want some blue birds. I did pick out bluebirds for that reason. And make it a very kind of blue kind of picture. So I'll make the handle a different color. And then the birds, well, they're blue and a little bit of yellow. So you could start off with the blue, it's kind of washing that whole section in, except the belly. I'm just doing this really loose. See that? With the number 8 round, not long round. Simple. Leaving that white around the belly for the yellow. Don't have to add yellow, can keep it all blue. And the seat could be more of a gray, bluish gray. So this part is not metal. I have to make sure I look at my photograph to see what I'm painting here. And this part is blue, or it could be metal. It's rustic. I might make that gray, rustic color. I have to kind of look back and forth at the photograph. What is actually blue and what is actually not blue? What's going to be, gray? Like the spikes should be gray. Everything's kind of rusted. So here I'm going to go back in and make that gray because that makes more sense. And keep the rest blue where blue makes sense, right? Just really kind of sweet. And the seat, I don't know, I can change up the colors. But see, you can make this all different. You can grab a little bit of the yellow. I'm using cadmium yellow deep right here. I have a little, maybe some burnt umber to it. Just tone it down a little bit. And you can kind of play with putting that in the tummy. I know right now it's kind of like a hard edge, but we can keep it that way. And we can kind of blend it by taking a brush, grabbing a little water, tapping back, and kind of mushing in a circular motion that edge. Go back and add the yellow. See, now it looks a little softer, like it's kind of blending into each other. Zoom in if you can't see that. I'll go back and add the yellow. But I just cleaned off my brush, and what I did is just kind of went like this and kind of blended it. Now I'll have to go back and grab some blue. Just kind of blend that. We don't want it to turn green. It looks pretty, looks better on this side. I don't know, that side didn't turn out as well, but again, we can just kind of lift, add a little yellow in here. There'll be some gray on top of that too. I don't want to add too much yellow because, don't forget we have the sunflowers there, right? But maybe right here where the belly of the yellow is, you can add some more greens. Now, got the yellows out. I have my cadmium yellow deep right here. I have cadmium red light. You can make nice orangey color tones. Add more of that yellow and just keep more yellow. You see where I'm going with this? You can add brown to it. Just do our first initial wash. Just kind of put some little petals here. Really kind of loose. You know what they are. Just kind of moving them out here. See, just take your little brush and go like that. Boom, 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 boom. And you already have the petals. You don't have to work too hard. I'll show you my technique of using my brush itself. So the paint is on the brush, just a little bit. And you're just going to push, 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 push. Now that's a little deep, but I don't want it to dry too late either. You can add a little more darker orangey yellow. You could add some lemon yellow. Play around with the yellows. It's a little different from the belly, and we're going to add some greens in there. But I just used the brush itself to create the lovely little blooms. See, pushing down and getting that nice point. Voila! You can sneak some yellow kind of happening in here under the bird. I'm just tippy tapping, you know me, my taps. Again, you don't have to keep the sunflower color. You can change it to whatever you want. We've already did pass the verditier blue. I'm going to go back in with some more. My brush just had some yellow on it. You really have to make sure it's clean. Yeah, it really helps. And the verditier blue. Can add even a cobalt or ultramarine blue to make it a little bit darker. So you can get a little bit darker on some of these areas. I just like the pale blue. That's a little deeper. Going in here and filling this in. making that blue shine a little more. It's not going to be super light. If you want it super light, then you keep it that way. Going in, this is supposed to be gray in here, this little, where the gears kind of change. And I did paint this, and it's supposed to be like more of a silver, so whoopie ding. I wasn't paying attention what I was looking at. Not a big deal. Even I can screw up. So I might add some more of this verditier blue. And my bluebird, enhance it a little bit more. We're going to add some ultramarine blue too. So I added more verditier blue to my little bird. I'll grab on the tip of my brush a little ultramarine blue. Now you can see the consistency over here. It's not really super wet. It has enough movement, so it's more like cream. And I'll just kind of tip, while that's still damp, tap. See, I'm going like this little maneuver here, ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta, like this. I'm just gently touching the paper. Go around the eye and on the outer edge. So you can still see some of the light verditier blue happening in here. But I'm looking at the picture, kind of goes down. I don't have to follow this to a T. Down like this a little bit. You can put little dashes here on the belly. Get that shading to make it somewhat realistic, right? And that's how the blue's getting built up. I'm gonna grab some more of that ultramarine blue again. Show you on this birdie bird. So putting some over here on the tail. We could add some burnt sienna to it to make it a little bit more gray. I'm gonna add a little burnt sienna on my brush. And now it's changed a little bit. It's not super blue, it's gonna be gray. See, little lines like that. I can clean off my brush, grab the blue, ultramarine blue, water it down, and you can make that brighter, see? Tapping that around on the eye. I'll clean up my brush a little more, wipe some of the paint off, some of the pigment, and kind of go down here. And then do some little dashes on the belly over the yellow. Now we can grab some of that. See, I put burnt sienna with ultramarine blue, so it's a little grayer, kind of around the eye, down in here. Get some more depth with the bird. A little wing here, and tap here. They're so tiny, but you know, it's important to make them not super realistic, but just, they're not goofy, you know? I'm tapping that same grayish color here, and down on the wing, here and here. It looks like I have a black eye. I'm going to remove some of this. Put some of that nice bright blue in here. And do little taps on the belly. I still have some light blue from the verditier in there. Might have got a little darker than I wanted. There is like a little white stripe kind of happening over on that particular bird. I can remove it like this and then go back in and paint in some of that blue. Get a little too dark and not cute. I can go on the beak too. I can put it on the beak, even though I'm going to put the beak a little blacker. Again, lift some of that color. I don't want it so dark. Play around with your bird. I think he looks cute. And the same thing with that bluish gray. Kind of just tap. See, just kind of like right here. You just kind of tap along so it looks three-dimensional. I'm just doing certain areas like on the edge. You see that? And then here. It's not showing you in the photograph, I'm just showing you how I would enhance it. So the same gray with the blue and the burnt sienna. Just very, very thick. See how you get that shadow happening in there? Just enhances it. I'll clean up my brush and kind of blend it out. Same thing here. You can really see the color. Kind of enhancing. This is how I do it. And on the side, and over here. And then down here. You see where I'm getting at? You're highlighting the bike in certain areas where the shadows would be. That's that gray color. So it looks a little more realistic, not this fake looking kind of bike. Does that make sense? And I'll go back and grab some more verditier blue. It's getting really pale, and enhance that again. Remember, this is supposed to be gray, and I screwed it up a little bit. So that looks good. It's a little dark up here, but it has the oomph that we need. So we already have our colors mixed with gray. It's blue and burnt sienna. So I mixed up some of that gray and I put it in here where it's supposed to be for the inside of the metal area. And in here, but it's rustic, remember? Rusted. So we're just gonna kind of like this and leave some like shining white. I didn't do it here. I can always enhance it with it's a gouache or something if I messed up. I'm just gonna go here with the gray. It's supposed to be silver, but it's rusted, remember? We're not gonna keep ours rusted. We're gonna keep ours non-rusted. Just fill this in with the gray. Like it wasn't rusted. Then it's a bike that's not dead. It's alive. And I'm just filling this gray in. I'll keep the spokes. I can keep them with just the pencil marks. I don't have to do all that painting. And the seat too. Like, okay, so then of course we have to have the tire. And I would mix the blue with the burnt sienna to get the lovely gray, the deepest gray black. I don't want to use black. And why is that? Because it just doesn't look nice. It just has this harshness to it. And as you can see in the tire, some of it's kind of lighter than the other part. Like outside here. Be lighter than the inner part. Going around that area. See what we're doing here? It just looks softer and sweeter than using like a Payne's gray or something really blackish. It won't have that same look. And of course it's not super smooth circular bike. It doesn't need to be. Once this dries, we'll do the other section of it. I'm gonna go in here and fill in this area. So like I said, it's a gray, a little white happening here on the edge, and then fill in the gray. And then this part is supposed to be a chain. All this part is supposed to be silver, and I'm just kind of like suggest it, this gray color and the chain color. You see that? Just little taps and like lines. As this dries, we can go back in and put the deeper gray. So how do you get the deeper gray? It's basically right out of the tube, ultramarine blue deep and burnt sienna. And you just keep adding until they look like a nice deep dark bluish gray. And you get that color right there, see? It just looks better. This is the, I don't know why I filled in this. This is the pedal, so I will make that darker. Sometimes it was hard to see what I was doing there. And then in here, get that darker color. Right up in here. And you see, the tire can be a little bit deeper. I'll water this down, go another pass, like right here. Again, it's not going to look super perfect like the photograph, and it's not meant to be. This actually outside edge is white. You know, it can just be a tire. It doesn't have to be white wall tires. And then this part is that silver. And then we have the spikes. Now, I'm going to probably use my liner brush for that. just because it makes more sense. I'm gonna go back in here, fill this in. So outside edge could have been left not white. I mean, I painted gray here and I could have left this white, but I really just wanted to have an edge, and I don't really care if that looks like the white tire, white wall part of the tire. I want to be able to see it. And in here, we'll enhance it by adding some of this gray. See here? Again, the same kind of thing we did with the blue. A little deeper here, where it's the shadow. I'm going in here. Again here, where it kind of touches behind the other parts, crossing in front of it. I hope this is making sense. And I'll add some more gray like this. So I am keeping the white part of the tire. I think it's kind of cute. What do you think? You can choose. The seat, might as well keep it gray. I don't know why. I think it's fine. And of course, the under part is going to be much darker. So I'll just do this piece for now, so I know where the other piece is. I won't be able to find it under the, if I paint over it. I'll just paint that one section and wait till that dries. And we can keep it gray under here on the handlebar. Look how sweet. Now, for the basket, I always think it's smart to start off with like a nice base. So I'll just take burnt umber and water this down. I could add a little of this gray to it, but I think watering that down is fine. And just start off with like a nice light base over the whole thing. Nice. It's going to dry lighter. Don't freak out. I've already got those pencil marks in for all the basket like lines and weaving. And just put that light base in there. And once that dries, we'll just do this little lines like this to indicate the basket. Meanwhile, back at the farm, the center of the sunflower. So I'll take burnt umber and I'll make sure I find my Payne's gray. Mix them together, you get a nice deep brown. And you can kind of go like this, fill that in. Now it's pretty thick. You can add a little water to it and then like maybe leave the center or a little line over there to create a halo effect. That's a simple way of doing a sunflower. You want to get super technical. I don't know if it's necessary, but we have that yellows put in. We can go back with our orangey yellows again on the tip of the brush and just kind of like tap out some darker tones, even some of brown, kind of out. See how I'm doing that? Teeny bit. Goes a long way. Like a second line kind of situation. 1, 2, just little taps going towards the edge of the center. Just the ones here. It's really just a sweet little picture. It doesn't have to be perfect. Oh, you don't have to make all the little petals perfect. And see, I'm just doing little taps. And then I'll go back in with my center again, that brown. You can make it lighter brown in the center, like there's that same color we used here, and just make it darker on the edges. Or save you lots of time and just do what I did before, the deep brown, leaving that white halo, like a medium brown. Just saves you so much time and energy. You make yourself a little crazy. I'm just filling in some brown there. And then of course, there's some like out here on this head. Now I did mention the greens, so we can see the belly. It's kind of, you can't really see where the bird kind of ends. So obviously I make my greens with my yellow and my Prussian blue. I'll just take the yellows I have here. Look at that. Oh yeah, use what you have. Don't keep cleaning your palette and changing it up. So I have like a medium yellow and I'll go add a deeper one in a bit. I mean a yellow, medium green. And I'll just make some simple leaves coming down here where the belly is, and out here, and out here. See, use the brush to your advantage, just kind of pushing down. 1, 2, 1, 2. I'll show you the stroke. Curve, curve back, fill. Or you can just push down and pull back. See, like that. Just tippy tap, pull back, little lines. Always have like a little sprays in there. Now you add more Prussian blue and more burnt umber, and you'll get a deeper green, even darker, see? You can tap it in some of those little cute little areas. Even the one you just did on top of that green. Let it bleed a little bit. Isn't that cute? There's the belly of the bird under the green. Voila! It's like magic. So let's go back to the basket. Again, just burnt umber, water it down a little bit. So we can, you see that line happening. I'll add a little paint spray to this. You can just paint the line. Break it up though. See how I'm kind of breaking up the line? Like almost like dashes. And then of course the one on top. And here. And then we're just going to go in like this. Okay, I'm going to make a little paint a little bit thicker, less water. So it's burnt umber with some paint spray. I'll tap it on the paper towel. That's a little too dark. Okay. So I have to loosen up the color, make it less dark. And paper towel is my friend. That's a little too dark. I'm just going to do these little lines like this. See? 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. You don't have to count them, but you see how I'm kind of doing this maneuver? And the same thing on this side. Hit, touching each side. And so it's haphazard, so it doesn't look like little soldiers. We want the stuff to look somewhat realistic and not like little soldiers. And they're going from the center of that line outward. And then on this side, on the bottom, kind of curve little lines and then tap on the edge. Tippy tap. So now we're going with a darker color. Kind of tap it on that little dashed line. It's much darker color. It has that Payne's gray mixed in. And then you can tap a few of them that you painted. See how I'm doing this? So it looks more like a basket. It's not like a hyper-realistic basket. Going back here. And I'm tapping. Again, just a few here and there, not everywhere, of the darker color. And tippy tap, dash line. I hope that makes sense. That's as simple as it's going to get for the basket. You know, if you wanted to add like a different color, like burnt sienna, it's a little reddish, but kind of play with tapping in a little bit of the color here and just changing it up a little bit. Kind of push down. It'll enhance it a little bit more. Isn't that sweet? So now that this has dry, I'm going to go back in with my ultramarine blue and burnt sienna, and I'll go in and fill in that area. It's supposed to be darker. It is a little too blue. I'm going to add a little more burnt sienna to get more of that black color. And then you see that little enhancement. Add a little bit of this gray in some areas that should be darker. Like under here. You can play around with adding some of that color on your blooms. Isn't that sweet? I think it's really cute. Now, I mean, this could make you nuts. You would definitely need to have a really pointy brush. This is an 8 long round. I know it's really long, not like a small number 2 or something. But I'm going to use this for my eye. I'm going to grab, this is where I grab the Payne's gray. It It has such a great point because it's a brand new brush. And I'm just going to grab some of that. We're going to go right into this little guy and go around the circle. I know this might be hard for some people. And fill almost all of it in except a white little dot. Oh, I'm sorry. Did you see it? I think you saw it, yes. Let's go to this bird. Again, you're just going to go around the circle. Fill it in except one little white dot. And then you're taking this and you're going here for the beak. Outline the beak, go in. You see? Look how cute. Little taps here. And if you want to use the same color and like do little lines for the wings. Look how sweet. And then of course I'll grab, I don't know if you're going to see it well, but some cadmium yellow deep right out of the tube. Maybe mix with some cadmium red light for the little legs. They're not chickens, but let's put little legs here. And you can't see it on this guy. And if you want to add the black, which is on the right side of that leg. So you can kind of see these hugging the bike. And then go back in with some of the black here on the handlebars. That has a little yellow in it. I have to remove some of this. Payne's Gray. It got a little dark. I'm going to remove some of it. But you get the idea. Because he's creating this deep shadow because he's on it. But I do want to remove some of this right here. Just take a little bit of time. There you go. It's like a little highlight. Isn't that cute? Now at this point, we've got our bike, right? This is where we can get a little more funky. I might go in and add a chartreusey kind of green and play around with filling in some of these spots and doing some little lines out here, kind of wild grasses. See? That's not in the photograph. That makes it more interesting. Maybe someone's coming down here and doing some leaves. You see how I get little cray? That's just my thing. So it looks a little more fuller. Now I'll take some darker green and I'll tap the branches. Hold on, let me grab my green. Mixing. I'm trying to mix and talk to you. Hold on, here we go. Just kind of tap. Deeper green. Medium green. Hold on a second. Just kind of tap on the edges of those little sprays that we did. The leaves. Now it looks even more interesting. It doesn't have to all be yellow. You could add some purples and other colors in there. Maybe I'd go and add some blues. I'm going to remove some color here. Ultramarine blue and some purple. I think even more in the blues. You could just go here and do some really kind of pretty little blue flowers. Look at that. Ooh, I love it. And just tapping, making kind of look like, I could say delphiniums or some kind of like a little cute little blue flower, but that looks so different, doesn't it? That one got a little too dark. There we go. Is it competing with the bird? I think it's cute. Little blue flowers. Changed it up, didn't it? I have the blue coming down here too. I'm going to grab cadmium yellow deep and see if I can try and put some bright green blooms here. Then at the bottom, it could be on like a road or something. This is where my big brush comes in handy, my number 12. Get rid of some of this color. And I'll probably just do like a gray, or you could do brown, or you don't have to do it all. Like this would be kind of nice. Maybe I'll regret doing this. Sometimes I do. So I mix ultramarine blue deep with my lovely burnt sienna. I'm getting a nice gray. Get some more burnt sienna. It's a little browner gray. And I'll tilt this. And I'll kind of like, that's a little dark. Whoop. Okay, nothing is working out. I'm gonna like this a little bit going on the side here, like it's on the street. Here we go. I didn't do the spikes. I'll have to do that in a bit. And it can't be like, it's got to be here too. It's a good thing I waited to do the spikes. If I did this particular thing and I painted over the spikes, it would be pretty bad. So now it's on the street. Right? I did like it floating too. It was kind of nice to have it floating, but not good, not realistic. And making a darker gray. If I did it now, let's see, it's going to be not so great, but we'll try it. Yeah. Right there. Sweet, right? So I wait till this dries and I'll go in and do my lovely spiky spokes. Isn't that sweet? It could be on grass too. I made mine on like a dirt. No, it could be on grass. I should have done it on grass. Didn't even think about that, guys. I could add more brown to it to make it more interesting instead of just gray. I know, I might regret this, but the gray is just bugging me. I'm creating a cauliflower bloom here. I'm going to remove some of this gray. This is how my brain works. I regret that. Let's remove this, let's let it dry, and we'll add the brown with some green grasses. So I'm gonna let this dry and come back. It's dry. I'm gonna go add some of this burnt sienna. Kind of coming out this way. I didn't want it to be all gray, so let's get some browns in there. And then I'm going to take some greens in there too. So obviously cadmium yellow deep and Prussian blue and a little burnt umber. Got some nice greens happening. Maybe I'll take the 8 long round. So to play with, just going like this. It's blending under the wetness of the bike and in here. Still damp in here. I'm going to just go like this so it blends a little bit, bleeds. And I'm going to put some out here. Again, back here. And that's on the dirty grass. I know. Look how my brain works. A little nutsy sometimes. But it's just how I go about things. I don't know until I try it. You know? So then I'm going to remove some of this color here, just a little bit. Just don't like it. Yeah, much better. And down here. Much better. Okay, I'll let this dry and come back with some real grass. So we're back with the grass. Mixing up some greens here again. Prussian blue, yellow, burnt umber, blah, blah, blah. Maybe a little bit brighter. Have them going over the tire. Don't do a million of them. Don't have soldiers of them. Just a little bit. Little goes a long way, people. Just a couple over here. And call it a day. Gonna just take off some of that paint and just do some dry brushing. And I might get some burnt sienna in here. Brown as well. Okay, for the lovely spiky wheels, I am going to grab my liner brush. It makes this best, where is it? It makes the best spiky spikes. It makes the best branches, so it's going to make the best spikes. And I will have to mix up ultramarine blue and burnt sienna to make that nice gray tone. Okay, and I'll grab my liner brush. This is the Princeton Umbria number 4. Whatever liner brush you have. And I'll just take that, and then here we go. It makes the most beautiful skinny little lines right over the ones that I drew. So the ones that I drew are more enhanced. Just going right over those. Or you can just keep the pencil lines, whatever works for you. And these guys back here. I can't even see my lines anymore. They're so crazy. Use less of them back here anyway. And I'm gonna enhance it with this little line going here. Connect, connect, connect. And that's that. That's all she wrote about the bike. Kind of cute, right? I really am liking this. I'm glad I added the blue. You know, I might get a little deeper back here. There's my little bike here. Some lines that I'm missing. Little details. You're kind of just going to enhance all the little areas that need shadows, etc., etc. We've talked about this a million times. But that is how I would attack my lovely picture. And I created this whole composition by just basically finding that bike with the basket of flowers and then adding birds to it because I thought it'd be cute, right? But isn't that cute? And same thing, you can do the same thing. By the way, the greens are just kind of like stuck there. You need some deeper color ones too. I'll add some dark, skinny, bent, broken, crazy ones. I love the liner brush. It creates the best greens folding over. And there she goes. I've been wanting to do this one for a while, so here you go, guys. I hope you like it. I would add a little shadow kind of here. And that little lovely thing. And then I think here it needs to be a little dark. It's the inside of this bumper thing. I don't even know if it needs that. It shows it. I don't know. I might just get rid of that. I think it's fine without it. That's how my brain works. I just feel like it's missing some part of the piece. Maybe if I enhance the edge with that verditier blue. Now it seems more like one solid piece like it's supposed to. All right, there you go. I hope you have fun with this. Tell me what you think. Take care. Oh, listen, Brady's in the background. Sorry. Take care, and I'll speak to you soon.